G'day everyone, Scott here from One Green Thumb Gardening in Toowoomba. Today I just wanted to do a bit of a more in-depth video of changing your Ego multi-tool whippersnipper head from the standard Ego one to a Speed Feed 450. You can do this on pretty well most whippersnippers except for the new auto feed Ego ones. So as long as it's detached with a proper shaft rather than with the motor. Then the Ego, some of the Ego whippersnippers come out with a motor in the top. They have a different drive shaft in them. So yes. So the reason why I stopped using Ego, the Ego head that it came with, to replace the cap, when I first started buying these in 2018, you had to buy the whole unit, which was 50 bucks. I think now you can actually buy the caps, but they're still about 25, whereas I can buy a cap for a Speed Feed head on a 450 for $12.50. So still half the price. So although it costs you $55 to buy the Speed Feed head, in the long run it will be cheaper. And I like to, I personally like to ride my attachment sitting on the ground, because I do a lot of where I mow the grass or whatever on that. So I go through a few of them. All right, so all you have to do is take that out. I think that was the original one that was in there. So get a socket. Now you got to go righty-loosey, so it's like a gas fitting. The opposite way of what, so left, yes. Left is tight, right is loose. Now, in your Speed Feed bag, you'll have a couple of those things, which I've never used, and then you'll have a selection. I can't remember which ones they are, but the one that I'm using, there's two green ones. There's a so that one is just shorter. Now when we screw them on, for some reason, oops, right, anti-clockwise, it seems to fit a lot nicer. It's only probably, yeah, that 1.5 mil, but you can sort of see that it's nice and flush up there and over the top. So I don't know whether that guy fits or not. Oh no, that wouldn't fit. See on the inside how you've got no thread, so that actually goes over that spline. So this guy, he doesn't quite go all the way down. There's like half a fingernail gap in there, and it doesn't quite go down. So for whatever the reason, so we're going to go with that guy. This is the one that I'm using. So what you're going to do is you're going to pop him down into there. Sometimes if you just get the right size socket, you'll be able to twist that. So it's just out of whack. Come on. There we go. So he'll just pop in. Make sure you put this guy on first, and then that guy is going to, with those two lugs, are going to slide in there. So you put him on there first. And then screw him on. Oops, the thing's spinning. Go back. There we go. Now, don't do the mistake that I did and use a screwdriver in there to tighten it, because then I snapped that part out and then I had to go buy a new one. So what you're going to do is put it in your vise, and you're actually just going to turn this whole head till she's pretty tight. All right, then this part goes in. Once, can't remember how to explain which way she goes up. Is there another one? No. But one side is shorter than the other. So, oh wait up, if I go that way, it sits down better. If I go that way, yeah, see how that one doesn't, there's too much gap. So I want to go down in there. So you've got that room for that to come up. So, because when we go that way, it's going to be sitting, and then we're bumping it to push it up. Now, this spring's pretty good. In the past, I've had trouble where when you're whippersnipping that, it keeps wanting to bump and then throw a whole stack of line out. So I've bought other springs and then just cut it so that I can jam him in and create a lot stiffer. So I have to really give it a good whack to bump the line out. And then he just sits in there like that. All right, and that's it, done. Now we just put some cord in him. With my egos, all my stuff has grease nipples on the side, just so I get better longevity out of things. When you do buy your speed feed heads, my other recommendation is to buy your little eyelets. I think they're $1 each or thereabouts. Have those in your work truck. There's nothing worse than, don't ask me how, but it has happened. This thing here has decided to pop off and you lose an eyelet, and basically you can't go any further whippersnipping because it just doesn't want to work without the eyelets. So my recommendation is to have a couple spare eyelets when you buy your spare caps as well. All right, and then mine sort of there's your little line there that tells you sort of line up your eyelet with that guy. So I've also got a saw and just put in 2 grooves there, so I don't have to go like that. I can just, my thing will be there, and I don't know, you can't quite see through there. Then to thread him, what I'll do is, it doesn't really matter where your line is, you just join up those 2 ends and then just run your fingers down and then you can sort of see that I'm off balance. So what I'll do is I'll line up my fingers there and then I'll turn my head so that I'm pretty close to where it should be. Now in your speed feed heads, you hold on to the cap, or whatever you want to call it, the base cap, and then you're just turning, hold him upside down like that. I said that the wrong way around. You're holding that guy. So what we're doing, then we're letting go of this top part, turning, then grab onto this one. Hopefully that sort of makes sense. It is a lot easier when it's all attached. Now, what I like to do is go a little bit shorter, because you can always bump it out. If you have it so you've got wherever your cord is, as soon as you turn it on, it's going to expand out, and then you're going to have too much cord, and then you're going to have to wind it back in. So go just in short, and then when you turn on your whipper snipper, it's going to expand a bit, and then you can always bump out. Now, the question was also asked about having a 375 one of these. I personally found that it didn't have the centrifugal force for thick grass, or when I was doing like my edging upright, because I like to have my cord out sitting there. So I found that the 375s just didn't have the centrifugal force to keep the motion going. It wanted to bog out and stop, and yeah, I just found that the 450s had a good weight ratio. That's what I'm trying to say. I could probably just put that sucker back in there. I don't know if it is in that. As for being off balance, I don't know why they'd be off balance. Honestly, I was trying to work that out, but no. What else can I explain? Now, I did stuff up when I was doing a video on this guy. When you put, so quickly go to this guy. Again, grease nipple on it. Where are you there? There. So on this one, I had to actually put a spacer on it. I'll show you. So what I did, because of the height difference in there, where did I put my other two blades? Where did I put you? There they are. So if you have a look at the standard Ego one, and then with my 4-blade one, you'll see the thickness difference. And then of course I've used big fat chunky ones, but because I've gone to this 4-blade, and what that does, as if that's my grass, as this guy's going in, and as he comes out, this guy's going in. So I don't get that bounce and ricochet out, whereas this guy, by the time that he's coming out, you're doing half a revolution before it's coming back in. So if I'm trying to push against the concrete edge, it'll bounce out. Oh, and even if you wanted to, if you don't have a spacer like that and you're going from your Ego to the 4-blade or even a 3-blade, you could probably just use that as a spacer and jam that on. I never really thought about using that as a spacer. But yeah, if you don't have, I just had a plastic spacer, so that's what I used. Don't know how that'll work. Try that out tomorrow. should have swapped my blade over. And oh, did I? Oh, beauty. I switched my blade over so I got the good side without even knowing it. All right, so there's another solution I guess I didn't even think of. I think that's balanced. That would actually probably even add weight to that to help with the to add weight to it. It probably wouldn't be a bad go either. And what I've also done with my edger, I've actually increased the length of this pole. That's where it should have been, like that, by a couple inches. So that's actually the pole out of my chainsaw pole saw attachment, which gives me extra length, and then I just put the pole from here onto my chainsaw attachment, because if I need the extra length, then I can just put one of the extender poles in. Alrighty. Hopefully that sort of explained a few things. Sorry about the length of the video. It's not hard to explain and do things in 2 seconds. Yeah, so if there's any questions, feedback, I will try to help you and explain how I do things. I mean, I don't do things the way things should be done all the time, so, but this is the way I do them. So, yeah, just like to share how I do them. Thanks for watching. If you liked, give me a thumbs up and have a great day. See ya.